other clubs were in for him. None of them made an offer, but other clubs were in for him. The fact that none of them made an offer does worry me a little bit, but for now, I'm going to be really, really happy with this. He's a star player. We're paying him a lot of money. I don't care. I think this guy could be utterly sensational for us. How's it going, everyone? My name is Stu, and welcome to my Football Manager 2024 save here with Deportivo La Coruña. Thank you for joining me in today's video, which is part number 40, which is nuts to me, where we're going to be doing a season review and a transfer special leading into the beginning of Season 6. How nuts is it that we've got to Season 6 already? And if you're excited to see how we get on with the transfer special, see what new players we bring in, see how things go, and don't forget to leave a big like on the video for me, and don't forget to subscribe as well. It's completely free to do so. You'll put a big smile on this face right here. What's not to love? So, if you haven't watched anything of the save, or if you haven't seen how the season ended, go back and watch it. There's a playlist up there. If you're new to the channel, welcome. This could be a good jumping on point, but if you want to go back and watch the rest of the save, why not? There's a handy little playlist up there that'll take you about all the way through to the rest of the save, and you can see all of the wonderful things that we've done. Right, without any further ado, it's the 27-28 season that we're reviewing. Let's get into it, shall we? Let's see what the season that was is like. Sure, those are words. And we're going to start with transfers, and I think there's a few good transfers here. I don't think we can disagree with this. We needed an upgrade on De Gea. Karnasetchi came in, £21 million. He was playing over in, I think that was Saudi Arabia. 27 appearances since January. The guy was our number one from the moment he stepped through the door, and he has been great. We got him on a bit of a lower wage as well. That just means he's going to want a pay rise at some point. But he's been sensational for us. Really, really happy with that. We paid a similar amount for Joe Veloso. He started 33 games, 12 substitution appearances, got 11 assists and 7 goals. Solid first season. Well, solid first season as a permanent transfer. We had him on loan last season, but he did a really good job. We then also brought Adam Hlajek in as well, because he was here last season on loan. He came in on a permanent and really did a good job for us as a striker. He was more of a winger last season. We just ended up using him as a striker because, quite frankly, sorry, there's a bit of hair there that's annoying me, because we just couldn't rely on Moukoko as often. £6.5 million is a bargain for the fact that he scored 19 goals. He got 3 assists as well. 26 starts, 18 sub appearances. He got a decent amount of goals. I'm really happy with him. Navarro came in as well. This was an expensive one. Now, Navarro we had on loan previously, and he was a very good player for us. And I just had it in my head that I wanted to bring him back. We did. It's an expensive rotation player, but he is at the moment the rotation player for Veloso. But he also might end up becoming one of his midfield partners in the future. Who knows? I say in the future, he's 26. I need to remember that he's 26. But either way, he's done a good job for us when coming in. 22 starts, 3 goals, 5 assists. He just has a good kind of build-up in play as well. He has done a good job in the build-up of play, even if he doesn't get those numbers there. Bajcetic is a loan player, but we have signed him on a permanent this season. And he's done a really good job for us, turned into our starting central defensive midfield option. 25 starts, 7 sub appearances, got a few goals, got an assist, happy days. Arno Martinez, he replaced, was it Carrillo? Yeah, Carrillo. I should really know. He was our former captain, but he came in, replaced him. Admirable job. Really good right back. Really happy to have him in. This one's a bit of a fail. Tanguy Nyanzu, £12.5 million. It's a bargain, but he kept having just things that got in the way of him starting and getting into the team, and we ended up, he's already been sold, so he's not really worked out. Only 4 starts, never really got fit. That's a bit of a fail. Not Moha level of fail, and if you don't know that, go back and watch previous videos. But yeah, not a great one. And Kasper Dolberg, I mean, he came in, we didn't really need him, but I just felt like, let's get an extra attacking player in. Started once, got a couple of goals, got an assist, did the job that he was needed to do. Not many players went out this season, but some of them were not deals we wanted to do. Casale was one we did, £18 million. That's a great bit of business. Carrillo, the release clause got us with this one. Heartbroken, but he did a good job for us through the leagues, and it's good to see him get a nice payday. Yandro Arellano, we did move him on. We thought his time would probably come in the top league. Went to Real Betis. Danny Martin also went there as well. He was, of course, our starting goalkeeper a few seasons ago. Went out on loan that, was it last season or the season before? But then was our backup goalkeeper. When we let him go when Karnasetchi came in. And again, another release clause. So all left. Couldn't really do anything with that one, which is a bit sad. In terms of how the season went in all of the competitions, I mean, the league, we were meant to qualify for the Europa League. We overachieved just a little bit. We ended up finishing in second. Highest we finished in the save. I'm really happy with that. I'm delighted. I thought we'd finish third or fourth. If we finished in the top four, I thought we also could have a slip, especially halfway in the season. We had a bit of a slip in and around... Where it was? Do you know what? A lot of it was the Champions League, because it was around here. This makes it look a lot better than it actually was. Because at the time, it felt like the end of days, but that makes it look far better than it actually was. That was the slip. Well, the rest of the season's been great. Oh, we've been a good team. We really have been. Really good side. Really happy with it. Our top goal scorer was Slajek with 14 goals. Champions League, we're expected to be competitive. We got out of the group stage just about. We struggled to get out of the group stage. We ended up having to wait until the final 2 games to get through to the playoffs, but we could not get past. I mean, look at that form there. This form, some of this form was in that period that I just highlighted, and that made it look a lot worse. We won against Celtic, and then we had 5 games in a row where we couldn't get a win. We had 1 draw against Paris Saint-Germain of all teams, but couldn't beat Villa, couldn't beat Benfica, got beat by Juventus, got beat by Bayern. But then we managed to beat Spurs, which led us to the final game where we confirmed everything with a win against Astana. But then Napoli did do us on penalties. 3-1 first leg, 2-0 second leg. Bit heartbreaking. But we got past where we needed to get, which was just to be competitive. And we were competitive because we got out of the group. Copa del Rey. Reached the last stage of the Copa del Rey was the expectation. Remember, we won it last season. We got to the semi-final, where I forgot it was over 2 legs. But we lost 2-1 in both legs. That was a hard one, I've got to be honest with you, because that has been our competition over the last few years. We got to 3 finals in a row, and then won it for the first time in this save last season. Yeah, that was a little bit heartbreaking, but, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. And Super Copa we don't care about. So, moments to remember. 7-0 against Almeria. Stoikers with a couple. A hat-trick from Makoko, a rare hat-trick from Makoko. Furic and Nicoli getting 1 each, great. Match to remember, Real Madrid earlier in the season. We did beat them twice this season in the league. Have that over your Copa del Rey-ness. So Vinicius Junior scored, but we also then scored, including Dolberg in the 92nd minute. Jesus, that is incredible. And then I don't think... Are we going to be able to see this? It's in August. Normally this doesn't work. Goal from Miranda. Are we going to be able to see this goal? We are going to be able to see this goal. I thought if it went so far back, you didn't get to see the goal. All right, then. Well, let's see what the goal of the season is from Miranda. I mean, he's a left-back. I'm going to assume that's him there. It's a... I mean... This feature in the game is a little bit hit and miss. Sometimes it is absolutely a banging goal. That was a good goal, but I know for a fact we scored better than that. Oh, okay. Finances have not gone quite as well, but we did get a little bit further in the Champions League, and we did win a trophy next season. So... let's bear that in mind. So, reputation's the same. We've got a 4-star reputation, which is good. I'd like to see that go up to 4.5-star at some point. But let's look at the money. We're down by £10,000, I think that would be. We're down £10,000 from last season. We're down in sponsorship. We're down 4 million in broadcast revenue. We're down about 10,000-ish in corporate and hospitality. Prize money, we're down about about 14 million. That's a lot of money. And we're down a tiny bit in match day, commercial and retail. The competition prize money is the big one, and that is probably because of Champions League. Maybe Copa del Rey, but it's going to be because of Champions League. Shirt sales, Hlajek, Furic, Navarro, Veloso, Jota. Remember, we brought in Navarro and Veloso this season. Hlajek as well. Yeah, both he and Veloso are in the same boat. So they're like 3 of the Golden Gooses. Furic is not the Golden Goose anymore. Apparently it's Hlajek. Who knew, right? In terms of the side of the season, Karnasecchi got in there. Remember, De Gea started half the season, so Karnasecchi really did a good job. Then we've got Martinez, Vandenberg, Coley, and Miranda. Ilic, I think, pushed Miranda out towards the end of the season, but I'd probably go with that. Yeah, that's probably fair. Midfield is Bajetic, Veloso, and Stoikers. Yeah, no complaints. Furic and Boedo in the wing positions. Yeah, again, can't complain. And Hlajek up front. Bang on. I would agree with every single bit of that. Now, in terms of awards... Club Awards, Fan Player of the Season, Furic. It might as well be the Chris Furic Award. Absolutely. I'd probably agree with that. Yeah, no, I probably would agree with that, to be fair. It's been a tough one. There's not really been one major standout player this season, but there's been quite a few who've done quite well, and he's one of them. Another one is Joe Veloso, who won Young Player of the Season. He's actually had a better average rating, so I'm a bit surprised he didn't win it. Signing of the Season, Karnasecchi. Better average rating than both of them. Again, bit surprised he isn't in the contention as well. Miranda, with Goal of the Season... It's a contender, but I think we scored better. Top goal scorer is Flajek with 19 goals. I need a better goal scorer next season, and we've got the money to try and get one, sort of, kind of, hopefully. Chris Furich with 11 assists. That's a bit low, but the assists were spread out. Most player of the match awards is 6 with Makoko. He just didn't score, and then he'd score like 7 in 4 games. Like, he'd have like weird runs. He was trash most of the season, but that is a weird statistic. Highest average rating was Karnsechi with a 7.3, and most passes per 90 was Vandenberg, which is the one no one cares about. Broke our transfer record with Martinez. We've paid more than that for a player. We absolutely have. I bet his is higher. I bet that's just what we paid up front. Competition awards, we had none. It's a weird season that we've had. But then I don't know if it's officially over, so there might be some more awards that might still need to come, and there might be some more money that still needs to come as well. Great season. Really happy with how everything's gone. And now we just need to try and rebuild and try and get the squad to a point where it can just keep improving. We're just slowly improving to try and get ourselves to a point where we're going to just start challenging for the league. It's interesting. We've got more casual fans. We've got more core fans. Hardcore and family have gone down a little bit. We've still got quite a decent amount of fair weather. No corporate as well, which is a bit of a surprise. I do find that quite interesting, actually. But we have been regularly getting like 90 plus attendances, which is good. And we are expanding the stadium, which feels like a while ago. I don't know what the news on that is. We're still searching for a site. The planned capacity is obviously more than what we've got. It's more than £10,000 more. So we're still working on all of that. So it is what it is. Right. So, Club Vision and Expectations meeting. What do they want us to do? They want us to be defensively solid. You might want to get familiar with my work there, guys, because it's not really been that. Counter-attacking football. We've done that at times. It's not the way I try and play, but we've done that at times. Make the most out of set pieces. I do try to do that, and it sometimes works, it sometimes doesn't. Entertaining football. I mean, depends what entertains you, really. I think that's kind of an open question. Work within the wage budget. Well, we didn't do that last season. I'd spend the original transfer budget. Oh, I'll be delighted to. I earned all that money selling players, so I will do what I want with it. Informational objectives. Build a new stadium. I have not got any say in that, board, but we're already doing it, so calm yourself down. End of next season, they've got no plans for me whatsoever, but basically we're working towards becoming the best of the rest from this point on. I am happy with all of those things. I also think I signed a new contract a while ago. We've been over that. I'm sure we've been over that. If we haven't, I signed a new contract. It's not much money, but I'm still at the club. Dynamics are as they are. We'll do the team meeting in a minute. Let's get through some of these. We've got to do a training camp destination as well. I've been linked with Real Madrid. Have they lost their manager? They've lost their manager. We're not doing that, but my goodness me. Can you imagine being able to manage the talent here? Endrick, they've got Jeremy Frimpong in there, Antonio Silva. I mean, these three are not the headline names. Valverde, Vini Jr., Onana, who's now at Villa. Okay. Gula, Chouameni, Evanilson, not very familiar with him. Dalot, Kadioglu. There's some weird transfers here. Zinchenko. There are a few weird transfers. Etienne Green. He's the English goalkeeper who's at Saint-Etienne, I think. There's a few weird ones in here. But then you've got like the Rodrigos, the Bellinghams. Goretzka's there. That feels sensible. And there's some good ones up here. And then there's some weird ones in there. But my word, that'd be fun. We're not doing it. But that'd be tasty. That'd be really tasty. But we must be doing something. Well, we know we're doing something right. But we really must be doing something right. If we are getting that kind of attention. That's really good. Right. Training camp destination. Where do we want to go? We want to go to the... Let's go to the Netherlands. Yeah, all right, really high pitch down. I don't know why. Let's go to the Netherlands and end of season team meeting. Well, they've not told us what they want us to do, so we're going to have to kind of fly by the seat of our pants here. We're going to say that we want to qualify for the Europa League. That's what we were aiming to do last season, guys. All right, fine. Right, raise hands. Champions League. Right, that made you happy. Right, pump the fists. We rectified that. You know what? We're going to leave the meeting there. It didn't go well. We rectified it to a degree. Let's just leave the meeting there, and you all go and have your holiday and forget about it. That sounds like a plan. Right. Transfers. What on earth are we going to do with this squad? By the way, Karnasecki, Herculano, Ilic, Dolberg, all called up for the Euros. Got some internationals on our hands. Right, what are we going to do with this squad for next season? So realistically, that is the business that we need to be doing. The blank players in this squad here. We need another central defender minimum. Remember, we've got the injury at the beginning of the season for Van den Berg to contend with. We need a new backup defensive midfielder. Bajetic is going to be the starter next season, I think, unless we find the superstar for a bargain. We need a new Mazzala, again, potentially as backup to Stoichkos, because Stoichkos has had a good season, but if we can find someone to go over the top of him, that's great. Or we play Navarro there, but then we need a new playmaker. Then we also need at least one new winger if everyone stays. I don't think there's any interest in Furic. Furic is looking to get a new contract. We do need to start negotiating with him, actually. That's a fair point. And also, do we keep Jota? Because there's interest in him. Again, he's still on the transfer list from January. We actually had an offer for I don't think I actually went into this. We had an offer for Jota come through after our transfer window closed. But I think the English transfer window was still open. And we had to turn it down because we would have been short on numbers. And that hurt me because it's taken us so long to actually get Jota to accept a deal. And then when we did, I had to turn it down. So he's got interest from a number of teams. If we can get decent money for him, I will let him go. And then we'll reinvest and bring in 2 new wingers. Furic is 30 years old. He's not getting any better. He's good. But I think we need to be looking at upgrading him at some point soon, I think. And then we desperately need a new striker. We've needed a new striker for at least a full season, maybe in the season and a half, when we realised that Moukoko wasn't the answer. And that's the bare minimum that we need. There's also one other thing we need as well, actually, which is we need a backup goalkeeper. So that makes it even harder. But it's a backup goalkeeper. We need Karnasecki is going to be all goalkeeper we ever need for the rest of this save. That's a lot of work to do. Now, we have got £30-odd million. And there's a lot of wages that's going to be coming out of this squad as well. Now, there are obviously loan players who are going to be coming back. But you look at the players who are going to be leaving this season. Ignore Bajetic. We've got Dolberg, a lot of money. We've got Firmino, not much. Gomez, a decent amount. Moukoko, a decent amount. That's a decent amount of money there that we're going to be saving on those 4 players. Result. That's a genuine result. We'll be getting those guys out. Pereira da Costa as well, actually. £20,000 a week. And Nianzou, £30,000. We're going to have a lot of wages to add to that. So while this doesn't look spectacular at the moment, we can probably put it up a little bit. If I put it to there and leave that at that, once that happens, we're going to have a decent wage budget and a higher transfer budget. And then if we do move 1 or 2 more players on, not that we have much room to do it with, but if Jota goes and maybe... I mean, I don't want Navarro to go. He's wanted, but I don't really want him to go. I don't want Trilli to go either. I don't really want Martinez to go either. I don't really want any of the players who are wanted to go other than Jota. But if Jota does go, then if we can get like, I don't know, 14.5 million is not a lot of money, but if we got that for him, I'd be quite happy because I think we can replace him with that. So that's what we need to do. That's the business we need to get going. Let's get it going. Let's see what we can do. And I'll do my usual. I'll try and do some wheeling and dealing now. But in all likelihood, we'll come back for the 1st of July. And we'll see what we can do from that point on when everything financially resets. And we're not tied by the constraints of the wage budget of the league. And the board only wanting us to spend £50,000 on wages. Which is ridiculous because we're a Champions League club. And we need more money than that. Right. I'll see you in a minute. We have new stadium details that have come out of absolutely nowhere. It's going to cost a lot of money. £201 million. That's a lot. But it's going to have a higher capacity than what we thought. It's actually going to have 51,000. We thought it was only going to be 47. So it's going to be higher. It's the Juan Carlos Valeron Stadium, named after one of our heroes. I'm a bit hurt, but I'll allow it. It's going to start being built, well, now, basically. We found a location. We found somewhere to kind of put it down. It's going to have undersoil heating. It's going to be finished in 3 years. That's a long time, but I do think we'll still be at the club at that point. I don't think the save will be over because I do think winning the league is going to be the long game. I think we're going to have to do some real squad building to get this squad to be kind of overtaking Real Madrid. But that's a sensational piece of news. It's going to be a bit of a challenge financially for the club because we fluctuate between 30 and 50 million throughout a season at the moment. We're going to be wanting to spend more money on like transfers and things like that. We're going to be wanting to do that. So that is probably going to start dropping even more. we're going to need to maintain success in order to keep it going up again, and then more money is going to disappear. I'm assuming we're going to get loans and stuff. Well, we've got additional funding with 50 million, so immediately that goes down to 150. We then need to try and fund the rest of it. We're probably going to have reduced transfer revenue at some point to help that out, I would guess. Don't know that for a fact. I've never been in a position when I've had a new stadium, and that new stadium's coming while I've been in the save, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But yeah, thought I'd just show you, new stadium! Yay! Hopefully the board are happy with me, because that was one of the things in the club vision. Are we in progress? I'm not being judged on it anyway. Well, that's alright then. Right. I'll get back on those transfers, shall I? Because I've currently done nothing. 1st of July has arrived. As have a couple of transfers. We've actually made some business before this momentous day. And we've got a potential out on the way as well. So let's just dive in and let's just have a look and see what we have currently done. So I actually signed a couple of wonder kids. I'm really proud of this. So the first one I've signed is this guy, German under-21 international, Vangelis Litskas, a midfielder, mainly a defensive playmaker. We're not going to be playing as a defensive playmaker. We're going to try and convert him into an advanced playmaker. I don't know how successful that is going to be. He's got a lot of attributes that fit there, just his off the ball needs to get a little bit better, so I'm going to try and train him at that. But he's 20 years old, he's consistent, he's already a decent La Liga player. I'm really happy with that. He already had 16 appearances for Borussia Dortmund, which, to be fair, isn't that many, but they all came last season, so I'm really happy with that as a signing. Hopefully he can do a good job for us. We signed him for £21 million. I used about 6.5 for that to get him in. That's probably the maximum I used. And then we've got this guy, Brazilian wonder kid with a cap for Brazil already, Ramon Maria. Now, I don't know what his best position is going to shake out to be. At the moment, he's going to be a winger, but I think he could be very tasty if we change away from Mazzala. Could be a very tasty central midfielder on attack. The problem with that is, on the playmaking side of things, we've got the new guy, whose name I've already forgotten. We've got Veloso, and we've got Navarro. But my plan is to change Navarro to Mazzala. But then that would get in the way of this guy. And this guy is an important player because of how good he is already. I mean, he's already 3.5 stars. He's potentially got 5-star potential. He looks pretty sensational. He played for Red Bull Salzburg. That's where he's come from. And the total fee is 18 million, but it could go up to 23. I'm really happy with this as a bit of business. Really, really happy indeed. I think they're two sensational players. Now, in terms of players out, there's no new ones that you're not aware of. You're aware of Costa. You're aware of Karius. You're aware of Nianzou. Jota is in the middle of getting a work permit sorted. He's on his way out. It's a pitiful fee, 14.5 million. But do bear in mind, he cost us nothing. He cost us absolutely nothing. And actually, ironically, last season was probably his best season overall, with the fewest appearances that he's had, which just doesn't make any sense. I'm really happy with that as a transfer, to be honest with you, though, because it just means that the inconsistency was what was bothering me. So we get him out. We get 14.5 million added on to that, so we'll have about 36. Let's call it 34 to be conservative. Get a few more wages on top of that, and then we can go in and try and build on that. So, I've already had to play around with the squad. There are still some things we definitely need. Centre-back, definitely one of them, at least one. Although Vandenberg is coming along nicely. 12 days and 4 weeks is his prognosis, but we definitely need one of him. I think we need a halfback, although we do have Rodriguez as well as Arthur, but both of them are 2-star max, and neither of them are 2-star at halfback. So we might move them on again on loan, or maybe even cash in on one of them and try and make a profit on them. But I think more than likely we'll probably move someone into that position and we'll sign someone for that. Midfield is fine. We just need to find the right combination. If we commit to Maria being on the wing, it means we've got Maria, we've got Furic, we've got Boedo. We probably do need another winger, although we do have Hernandez, who's a little bit inconsistent and a little bit injury prone, but we do have him. We also do have, where is he? Bentancur as well, who is a La Liga 2 player. Again, inconsistent though, so I don't quite know what we do with that. I think we do need to sign someone. So we'll look. Oh, we need back a goalkeeper as well. So we need back a goalkeeper, centre back, holding midfielder, probably a winger, probably a striker. So we still need 5 players. When we get that extra money in, it'll make it look a bit better. It's not a lot of money to do it, considering how much a top striker is going to cost us. I think those 2 transfers, though, are really going to be game changers because, again, both of them are 20 years old. Both of them are young. Both of them are wonder kids. We need to get them game time as much as possible to get them to grow. I think they're going to be sensational for us. We just need to give them that chance to grow. I am, however, also considering if an offer comes in for Stoikers, I might let him go. He's been good. Don't get me wrong. He's been very good. But I might move him on just to make some room, because then I can put Maria into here, which I think, as a central midfielder on attack, is going to be his best position. And then with the extra money from Stoikers, we can then get 2 wingers in. Or we can convert Navarro to a winger, because then he's going to be without a position, sort of. So I'm not fully committed to one way or the other. We'll see how pre-season goes, and we'll see what happens. But that's what my thought process is at the moment. We still need to get those transfers in. But I'm pretty happy with what we've done so far. We just need to get a bit more going, and we need to see if we can get a couple of bargains. Because again, these guys, although they have cost like £20 million each, remember, we've only paid, I think one was like 5 million and one was 6.5 million up front. We've paid pennies on them up front. We might regret that later, but right now, I'm really happy with that business. Right, I'm going to go away again. We're going to see if we're going to get some more business in. Oh, by the way, also, Bejetic has finalised his contract. He's now permanently our player as well, which is grand. We need to get some players in. We need to get some final pieces of the puzzle in. But I think we have already upgraded the squad to a degree, and I'm really happy about that. Now, let's go away and see if we can do any more to it. Oh, well, after 2 years of trying to move this guy on, him convincing me that he was worthwhile being a part of the team, and then teasing me with more transfers, Jota is gone. We finally sold him. Again, it's less than his release clause. His release clause is like in the 40 million region, but it's still, we didn't pay a penny for him. Jota is out of here. I can't tell you how happy I am. He did have some good moments for us, don't get me wrong, but there is a little bit of relief that he is now no longer at the club. It does make me a bit happy. That does leave us, after transfers that we've done, with that level of money. Now, I am kind of trying to bear in mind, I do need to be a bit careful with the salary cap. We're still at £950,000 for the squad, so we do have to be very careful with it. We've got it to a point now where we're probably at about £300,000 of a deficit at the moment, so we've got that room to work with. I'm currently trying to bring a player in the form of Ivan Azon, who would be another striker. He wouldn't necessarily be our starting striker, but he's a Spanish striker. He's coming from Salzburg, same as one of our other players, same as a Brazilian guy, actually. This would be our backup striker, and I'd move Hlojek back to the wing. That would then solve the wing problem, because I feel like this guy is going to be cheaper than it would be to bring in a winger of the same quality. I don't know why, but it does seem that way. He's got decent off the ball, he's got decent finishing. He's not the quickest, but he's 6 foot. He's got decent heading ability. We've scored a fair few aerial goals. This guy could be a really good threat for us. I mean, I don't think he's scored a ton of goals for them. I don't think he has. 1360. I tell you what, 1367 really isn't that bad, actually. It's really not. So I'm actually really happy with this as a transfer. If he does end up coming, he's accepted a contract from us. It's just whether, obviously, that goes ahead. So I'm really happy with that one. I am biding my time until Portugal are out of the Euros. Until I make the move for the striker I want. At which point I should still have enough money to do it. I'm going to reveal who that is if it happens, or if what I think will happen happens and he goes to another club. I'll reveal who it is then, and I'll show you why I wanted to sign him. I've got 2 options though. I've got a first choice and a backup. We'll see which one we get. But so far the transfer window is actually, dare I say, behaving itself. I mean, it might not last very long, but we'll see what happens. But hopefully I'll be coming back to you with the news that our fellow over here, wherever he's gone. Where is he? There he is. Ivan Azon. Hopefully he'll have signed. It's between us and Leicester. We've bid more at the moment. Hopefully he wants to come to a team that finished second in the Liga last season rather than Leicester. No offence, Leicester. Guess we'll find out. Okay. We've got the backup striker. Ivan Azon. Ivan. He's in. 25 years old. He's a Spanish striker. He hasn't played for Spain, but he's certainly good enough to play in La Liga. He will be, I think, a more than adequate backup striker. He's a proper striker. No offence to Hlojek, who's done an admirable job, but I think Hlojek, in my eye, he did very well last season, but I actually feel a bit more comfortable with him as a backup winger. and an emergency striker. I think this guy actually could be really, really good as a backup striker for us. He's got a little bit of everything. I'm really happy to have him. We'll just see what happens. He wants to be a pressing forward. I will let him be a pressing forward just for the time being. I have put an offer in, as it's past the Euros finishing, for the Portuguese striker of my choice. He is a new gen. I'm not going to show you him because I'm hoping that the contract that he says is accepted does get properly accepted, because he would be some player. I'm excited and nervous in equal measure. I don't think anything else drastic has happened since then, so I will come back when we know the outcome of that deal, and hopefully there'll be a big smile on this face right here, or I'll be crying. Very quick one as well. David De Gea has officially retired, so we now do need to find a backup goalkeeper. We gave him a contract for an under-19 coach. The board turned around and said, actually, you got too many coaches. I have actually re-offered him a contract and got the board to say, put more coach spaces in the under-19s. So hopefully he will be a coach for us, but that is him gone. It's also his wages off the bill as well, so we've got a little bit more money to play with. There were spoilers on the bottom there. Not that you know who the player is because he's a new gen, but yeah. That was all I wanted to bring you back. De Gea retired. Thank you for your service. You were great in that one season, and you were decent last season as well when called upon. Very, very interested to see how he does as a coach, but yeah, what a man. What a man. I genuinely, 100% thought this was going to fall through. Johnny Salvador, Portuguese, 20-year-old wonder kid. Look at the state of him. Look at the actual state of him. Yes, he's young. Yes, he's only scored 20 goals in 55, which is not a bad return for a youngster. But he's consistent. He's got no issues living abroad. He's got no issues with big games as far as we can see. He's a 4.5-star player in the right position. His finishing is great. His off the ball is great. He's quick. He's 6 foot tall. His jumping reach is good. His heading is really good. His passing is not particularly great, but that's fine. His technique is really good as well. His flair is decent. Concentration is not too bad. I am delighted to say that he's our player. He's cost us 16 million up front. We've paid 48 million overall, but he's cost us 16 million up front. Apparently we're full of game-changing forwards. We've got 3 strikers. I don't really know how it kind of gets to that number, but my word, this feels like a game-changing transfer. Other clubs were in for him. None of them made an offer, but other clubs were in for him. The fact that none of them made an offer does worry me a little bit, but for now, I'm going to be really, really happy with this. He's a star player. We're paying him a lot of money. I don't care. I think this guy could be utterly sensational for us. I mean, we've got a couple of injury problems at the moment, which I'm sure you'll be able to notice on here. And also, we're starting to notice with some of our younger players going out on loan, and we did sell one of them as well. Betancourt, the young winger who was inconsistent, we actually have sold him because of his release clause, and I let him go because I just thought there's no point keeping him. We made a profit on him. As you know, that's my metric. But this guy, I think, is a potential game changer. Look at how good that looks already. I mean, I'm just hoping we don't have the issue we had with Moukoko, but this guy's leagues ahead of Moukoko. He really is. This could be the biggest transfer of the save. It genuinely could be. He's good on the ball. Yes, his first touch isn't brilliant, but he's still good on the ball. Oh, man, I'm excited. I'm really excited with him. He looks like he could be something special. He really does. There are things in there that aren't perfect, but I'm still very excited for him. Right, striker sorted. Now, we need a defender. We need a half-back, although I've currently got in a trial of Manswerk, who, to be honest, at 26 years old, could do the job. So I might just put in an offer for him, a contract for him, and be done with it. And then with Hojek on the wing, we might be okay, because we've got Hojek, Furic, Boedo, and he's on the way to the Olympics, I think, at the moment, but Maria would be the next one. That's 4 wingers. I think we just need defender and to confirm that, and a goalkeeper, and we have got not loads of money to do it with, but we've got some money left to do it with. And we could also do a cheeky loan or 2 or 3, you know what I'm like. So that is a possibility. In terms of when we put the squad together, let's just put these boys in. That's where we're at. We've still got £200,000 left to play with. Although we don't have that money necessarily in hand, we've got the money in the squad salary. The 3 players. And realistically, I don't think we need it to be for a starting central defender, I don't think. I don't think it needs to be for a starting defensive midfielder, and it doesn't need to be for a starting goalkeeper. It's all backups. And again, I appreciate it's not a lot of money, but let's say, for example, that we do go for Mansberg. Because again, Bajcetic isn't very old. Bajcetic is currently playing as a defender. He's 23 years old. If we go with Bajcetic long term in this save, Mansberg can come in at 26 and just do a job. I mean, do you know what? I'm putting an offer in. What does he want? Squad player. Brilliant. You're not being a career though. That's not happening. But you can be a squad player. That is fine by me. What do you want money wise? You're not going to tell me, you cheeky scamp. Right, okay. I have absolutely no idea what to put his offer at. I don't want to insult him. What does our director of football think? He thinks that. I mean, okay. I'm not against this. It's in the region of what I'd consider. I'm going to just bump a few of these up. That's going to get binned off. I'm going to lower this release clause. It doesn't need to be that high. I'll go with 40 million. Pop in a cheeky assist bonus just in case he gets something going. I think that appearance bonus needs to be higher as well. I'd put it at minimum at probably at that. That can then go down to 7.5. I'll pop a goal bonus in there as well for the same. I might leave it at that for the first one and we'll see how bad it is. Okay, you didn't laugh us out. That's fine. I don't really want to pay that much. We'll go with 20. Fine with that. I'm fine with that. If he goes for 20, I'll be delighted with that. Right. Defensive midfielder. Done. Let's guess, with the money we've got remaining, minus £20,000, decent defender, decent backup goalkeeper, and then whatever we've got left, we'll see if we can get some more youngsters in maybe. That feels like the thing to me. Hold up. Arthur Theat's on the transfer list for £91 million. Got excited. No need to. Right. Let's try and get those last couple of signings in to finish off this squad. And let's see how good this superstar striker is. I'm so excited. If he flops now, I'm going to be furious. Absolutely furious. Okay, the bad news is we did not get Mansberg. He has gone to Villarreal, which, considering we've got a little bit of a rival with Villarreal, that feels like a bit of a kick in the teeth. But we have made the other 2 transfers we needed. Goalkeeper, centre-back. And I'm quite happy with them, actually. So goalkeeper is Luis Maximiano, a Portuguese player. We've got a bit of a Portuguese contingent in this squad. He's come from Reims, where he hasn't had the best of times, but he is a bit of a journeyman goalkeeper. He's had quite a few clubs. He's journeyed around the place. And the 3rd or 4th club he's been in Spain, so he's familiar with our country. We've signed him for £9 million. It's the most he's ever gone for in his career. It was really just to get it over the line. But he's come in as a backup. Nothing more than that, nothing less than that. And he'll do that job absolutely fine. I've got no issue with that at all. And then this one is a bit of a weird one because it's a really good signing, but it also isn't because he's not our player. Jean-Pascal Ribel. He looks like he could be a bit of a sensation. We have got a future clause optional for the end of the season, but we'd need to do wheeling and dealing akin to this season in order to do it because it's £21.5 million. If we get in a position to do it though, I'd consider it. The only thing that worries me about him is that 10 composure, but he is yet another wonder kid. So even if we only have him for the season, I'm happy to have him as a backup defender. So that means we have got one more piece of business to do, which is a defensive midfielder. And if we get that piece of business... Oh, by the way, the other great thing about it is he's also at the Olympics. Why is Navarro ineligible? Is he available for another... He must be available for another team or something, because this keeps happening. And I don't fully know why it keeps happening, but he keeps showing up as being already involved in another match, and I don't really get why. Unless he's in like one of the 11s here or something. Like, I just don't get it. I mean, I'm looking for him. He's not there in the B team. And he's not there. I don't get why Navarro keeps showing up as being unavailable. I mean, if I click on it, does it show me? What other match? What do you mean, game? What other match? I don't understand. What is it? Is it a Basque game? Is that a thing? I don't know. The annoying thing is, it's not the first time it's happened. And there's nothing on here where it should appear, where I can see anything that comes up. It was that game there that he missed. And if that's going to be a thing all season, I'm going to be livid. But again, always involved in another match on the same day. What match, sir? What match? It feels like it's got to be one of those two, but he's not eligible for any of them. So I don't really get what's going on. Anyway, that's my problem to sort out. But yeah, once we've got the defensive midfielder fully sorted, I think then we can look at the money we've got, which is still a decent... What would have been a decent amount if we'd have made that transfer and it would have been free. If we can get another loan player in, I think it would be a good bit of business, and then we can kind of use the money that we've got left on a handful of loan players maybe. That's what I'm thinking. A lone defensive midfielder and then maybe a couple of lone rotation players. That is what I'm kind of thinking we might do with the rest of this money. I'm going to go away and try and do that before we get to the first game of the season, which is fast approaching. It is there. Oh, it's right by where my head is. Rayo Vallecano up here on the 6th of August. So the 22nd of July. We ain't got long. We need to get it done now. Pretty sure that's transfer business done. We're at the opening game of the season and we have got at least 2 players in every position, and then we've got a couple of flexible options as well. So I'm pretty happy with what we've done. So the last transfer you saw was Luis Maximiana, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember whether Onyeka was already in. If he wasn't, he is now. We've also signed Valentin Gomez, and we've signed Sally Ozcan as well. So Onyeka, quick look at him. He's actually a decent player. He's 6'2", he's a big lad, can play in the middle, can play on the wings, can play as a central midfielder, probably can play as an emergency striker if we needed one. He is a very good signing. Yes, he's cost £2 million around that to loan him in, but I mean, we were just desperate to get someone in, so I'll take it. Valentin Gomez, central defender, can play as a left back as well. We've got a couple of players who can deputise as a right back, so it only felt right to get a centre back option in as well, who can play as a left back. That's more what I meant. But he can also obviously play as a centre back, which is good. Again, cost us a bit more money than I'd really like it to, but it's fine. It's not the end of the world. And Ozcan has only cost us wages, which is great. He's 30 years old. He's experienced. He can play as a half back. Not brilliantly, but he can do the job well enough. He looks solid enough to me. And that is the last of the real kind of transfers. I think the only other transfer that's happened that got taken out of our hands, it's not on this list because I think it doesn't count as us. It would count as our junior team. The winger that we had, Betancourt, he has left for Newcastle for his release clause. Bit of a shame, but he was inconsistent. He was probably never going to play for us. But that all means that we now have this as a squad. And I'm pretty happy with it. Carnesecchi remains the goalkeeper. The defence is pretty much the same, although we have added Rybel, who will be competing for places. Yes, he's not going to be a permanent player for us, but he's a solid enough backup option, and he's a wonder kid, so if he does well, we'll try and sign him. That feels like a plan. Midfield, we've not really done a lot with. We have brought in Litskas, who can play as a as a playmaker, but we have also brought in Maria, who we're going to play him as a winger to begin with, but he might end up migrating out of that and back inside, and he can do a good job as a central midfielder on attack. It's actually noted down as a very good position for him. Wing-wise, we have changed it because that's where we're intending to play Maria. We've also moved over Hlojek to the wing, and I'm quite happy with that because Hlojek has got proven track record there. Furic is obviously great, but Boedo did a good job last season, so I think Maria, if you can get him going, he will be a good addition to that as well. And then forward line, completely revolutionised. Salvador, brilliant. We've also got Azon. I'd go as a zone. I like a zone. I'm probably going to forget that in the next video. A zone is going to be the backup striker, but Salvador looks like a sensation, so I'm really happy with that. So I feel like we've definitely improved. Defence is the one area that we haven't, but we did improve it with Carnesecchi in January. So if we can attack enough, and I feel like we've really improved our attack, then who cares about our defence because we'll just outscore everyone. I would like our defence to be better, to be fair. Now, full disclosure, and I've alluded to this already, and you're probably thinking, what have you alluded to, Stu? You haven't. I got as far as part of the way through the second game in this season in the next video and realised my microphone was muted. So I actually already know how the first game of episode 1 ends, because I've already just re-recorded it after realising the balls up that I made. So I already know what happens, but you don't. So you're going to have to tune into the next video to see what happens with Rayo Vallecano. Now, one thing I do want to quickly mention, money. There is none, but it's fine, because I'm pretty sure with 24 players in the squad, which is what we've got, not including some of the youngsters we've got knocking about, registered players 24, with about £50,000 left in the wage cap, I want to say. A little bit over, 60 or 70. We've got 24 players registered. I'm happy with the team, very happy with it. I don't know how Champions League is going to shake out. We'll get to that when we cross to it, but I'm really happy with what we've got. So it's time to start the season, and we will start it against Vallecano in the next video. And again, I already know what happens with that one, but fingers crossed we get off to a good start. Thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed, don't forget to leave a big like on the video for me, and don't forget to subscribe as well. It's completely free to do so, and you'll make me a very happy chap. I've been Stu, you guys have been awesome, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.